Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we want to look at the Big Rock carbon foam limbs. These are affordable carbon limbs with a foam core. Suitable for recurve archers who've got international fitting limbs. These are the limbs which just clip in. These are really well priced, under 200 Australian dollars. So American dollars, you're probably talking about 140 American dollars. So first off, I want to just discuss these limbs a little bit. So you've got a carbon core, graphics on the outside. The finish looks quite good. It's a dull finish. The limb tips are clean. Now this company makes limbs for a lot of archery manufacturers around the world. I'm not sure what that says. That's weird. I think it's the name of fiberglass. They both got it. Now the first thing I'm going to make a comment, the poundages on these limbs, they come from 20 pounds right up to 50 pounds. So therefore this company thinks they're a high quality limb to produce a limb at 50 pounds, which to me is absolutely awesome. Because shooting recurve, you've got to increase your bow poundage. So you're going to churn through limbs as you shoot and shoot and shoot and build up your strength. And you don't want to be changing limbs on $1,000 set of limbs. So these are really affordable. So what do they shoot like? What sort of speeds are you going to get from them? And how do they compare to the $1,000 limbs? So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to compare these limbs to the top of the line Fivics and the top win and win limbs on speed and how smooth they are to shoot. Now one of my first things on the limb, most recurve limbs say the bow length on what size riser. So these are 68-inch limbs that have 68-inch for a 25-inch riser, and it would say 66-inch for a 23-inch riser. These tags have got nothing on them, and I don't think that's acceptable. But saying that, the finish looks good, and I'm real keen to try them because the price point on these is super hot. So let's see how they sort of stack up and see how they shoot. Okay, so I want to summarize what happened in my video that you didn't get to see because I'm not going to run it through all again. So with the Big Rock limbs, one of the little pins would not push in. So what I had to do was I had to unscrew the bolt. There's a spring inside and there's a little pin. I had to push that pin out and I had to work it, and I used to basically bash it with a hammer until it used to flow in and out easily. Once I got that operating, the limbs clipped in easy. I shot it through the chronograph and I shot speeds of 197 and 198 feet per second. It was very easy to draw. Easier than the Titan EX, Fivics Titan EX limbs, and easier than the NS limbs. I then fitted the Titan EX limbs to the bow and shot it through the chronograph. The Titan EX limbs shot at 203 feet per second, so about 5 to 7 feet per second faster than the Big Rock carbon foam limbs. The Titan EX is a gloss finish and looks a little bit nicer. These sell for around $900. I then set up the Win and Win wireless limbs, shot that through the chronograph, and they shot at 208 feet per second. Now while the wireless limbs shot 10 feet per second faster than the Big Rock and about 5 feet per second faster than the Fivics limbs, the draw cycle felt harder on the Win and Win WNS foam limbs. And also whacked my arm, so I've got a considerable mark on my arm and it really hurt quite a bit. Unfortunately the sound wasn't working, so you didn't get to see any of that. So my summary with the Big Rock carbon limbs, I think they're good value, although I've had two issues so far. One, the groove was not wide enough, and the second one was the pin would not push in. But at $200 Australian, that's about 140 American, around that sort of price, they're really good value in my opinion. The closest limbs to it, probably in price, are the Win and Win fiberglass wood limbs. So it's a wood core with fiberglass on the outside. Now the advantage of the Big Rock carbon foam limbs is they go right up to 50 pounds. So obviously Big Rock think that their limbs are high quality to produce them in a 50-pound version. Now this gives archers the ability to work these limbs right from 20 pounds right up to 50 pounds so that you're ready to shoot with that bow. Now I'm going to say, if you're an Australian representative or you compete at an elite level, you would want to consider the more expensive limbs, because it may give you some extra feet per second. It may give you 5 feet per second. But I'm going to say that the big rock limbs are a little bit smoother, so I would question whether a 44-pound big rock limb may feel the same as a 40-pound Y-Wist limb, and then they might shoot at the same speed. So it's very hard to get speed from nothing. So generally, if you're getting more speed, it's a harder draw curve. It's building up the poundage longer, it's harder to get through the clicker. I found the big rock limbs very easy to get through the clicker at 42 pounds. The Y-Wist limbs I've been struggling at getting through the clicker at 42 pounds. I find the Fivics limbs, the Titan EX, very, very easy at 40 pounds. And this is one of the problems with Recurve. People go, what poundage limb should I get? It's hard to know. You know, we're debating here 40 pounds versus 42 and different types of limbs. So that's my findings. I think they're good value for money. If you're on a tight budget, Big Rock make a fiberglass foam limb at about $150, which is obviously better value for money, but it's not carbon. The carbon go right up to the 50 pounds, so it's something to consider. Myself personally, I would probably go for the carbon foam limb over the fiberglass limb, because it's only a few dollars more expensive. And I figure I'm going to get a few feet per second out of that, so I'm like, for the amount of time I'm going to use it, I think it's probably worth the extra dollars. But it depends on how tight you are with money when it comes to a recurve. If you're on a tight budget, then you're obviously going to go for the cheaper limb. If you think, well, $50 is a takeaway meal, then go for the carbon limbs. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. I'm sorry the sound didn't work for that whole video. It did take me over an hour to shoot this video, so I'm not going to go through and fiddle the different limbs again and show you how I fix the pins. I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to do a video to show you the limbs being shot. But they shot nice, and the big rock limbs did not hit my arm. The only limbs which did hit my arm was the Y-Wist limbs, and that hurt. I'm Stephen Hand. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.